Well, joining us here in the studio, let me do a quick introduction. Rajesh Kalra is joining us here in the studio, Chief Editor of Times Internet. To his right is Seba Farooqi, General Secretary of the All India Democratic Women's Association in Delhi. Saba Naqvi, Political Editor of the Outlook magazine. Thank you very much. Dr. Indu Agnihotri, Secretary and Director, Women Development Studies, is with us in the studio. And Beena Lakshmi Nepram is a social activist. She's with us, and to my immediate right is Meenakshi Lekhi. My first question goes to you, Meenakshi. Also, I'd like to welcome on this very eminent panel Kiran Majumdar Shaw, who is joining us from Bengaluru, a Times Now viewer. Radhika Ganesh is joining us from Chennai. Shaina NC is joining us from Mumbai. It's a Radhika Ganesh from Chennai, Shaina from Mumbai. It's an all-women's panel, except Rajesh.
And you.
And me. It's good to be overwhelmed sometimes. I want to first begin by asking you, let me go across to Kiran Majumdar Shaw of The Voice from Bangalore first. Ms. Shaw, you have been seeing this outrage. Do you feel that this was just waiting to happen? And perhaps not just in Delhi, but in many of our metros, many parts of India, that this will lead to some kind of a new awakening perhaps? Are you optimistic about this?
You know, Arnab, first and foremost, I feel ashamed to call myself an Indian today. First and foremost, I feel that we've become a depraved, lawless and shameless society which has no respect for its women. We call ourselves a motherland, and is this the way we treat women in our country? I mean, what have we been reduced to? It has to start with really asking ourselves this very serious question: what is wrong with our society? So, apart from looking at what the police have to do, and certainly I think there is a lot to be done in terms of bringing about a law-abiding citizenry, I think it's extremely important for us to look at ourselves and say, what is going wrong in our society? I have never seen this kind of unseemly and horrific behavior on the part of anybody. And that's what makes me really, really very sad. So it is an inflection point, it is an awakening, and I think the country has to get together and, really make sure that we never let this happen again.
But why are so many people out in such large numbers? Beena Lakshmi, let me put that question to you. It is one incident, it's a horrific incident, but the response that we have had is national. Why do you think it's evokes such a strong response?
I have the same question, Arnab. Just 2 years back, a girl from Mizoram was raped at Dholakwa. Right. That was not so much outrage like that. Then in 2009, a girl was sexually molested and burned to death in Munirka by an IIT PhD student. When we took the issue to many women's groups in India, they said, we thought that the Northeast groups would have tackled the case. So we still wonder.
That's shocking.
That's really shocking. So I really feel bad for the girl who is struggling for her life. It's a shame that any violence of women committed to any women in other parts of India should be condemned.
No, but it's gone on a bit too far, hasn't it? I mean, isn't that part of the problem as well, Saba? Do you think it's gone on for a bit too far, and Delhi particularly?
Arnab, I think what you have in Delhi, there have been so many incidents. You have these shining sort of malls, and you have people who are prospering, and Delhi is still built on urban villages where you don't know who these people are, and there is such a sort of social changes are happening so rapidly in these metros, and there have been a series of incidents which, as a journalist, I've observed. Guwahati, where a girl is molested outside, and people seem to sort of revel in that. And actually, what occurs to me is, on the one hand, you have attitudes, social attitudes, where men say, oh, these girls had it coming. Then on the other hand, when something so horrific and so bestial happens, as the details of this case are, which is not even rape, this is about
it's perversion of unimaginable degree.
When something like this happens, then we say hang them. So, we have to sort of look into ourselves.
But we too have to go beyond seasonal interest in these issues.
Absolutely,
I think the media too must, and I would say this. But I'd like to, go across to Khushbu to get a sense of how it's being viewed by someone in Chennai. Khushbu, both as a women's activist and as someone who has spoken to us on women's rights issues and these kind of issues so many times in the past. How do you sense the outpouring that has come up in this particular case, also from your own city?
Arnab, I think people have come to a stage where they say we are not going to be resilient about it. Enough is enough. You see the amount of people on the streets all over India in support of this girl, demanding immediate effect, that the rapist should be hanged or they should be given the most severe punishment, which can set an example for the next people who would even shudder to think of molesting a woman or even sexually molesting it in a very remote way, to set an example. I think we have come to a stage where we say enough. We are not going to take this anymore. We demand respect because we deserve that respect. And we need to put a full stop to this. We do not want another woman being sexually assaulted or raped in our country. This is the limit and we cannot go beyond that. We have come to that stage where we all want to come together and say, including the media, including you, including every person in this country, where we say enough. Put a full stop, whether it's Delhi, whether it's Chennai, Bangalore, Mumbai, Guwahati, Mizoram, anywhere. Put a full stop. We cannot accept this anymore.
I don't want to get into politician bashing, but there is no alternative on this, Meenakshi, is there? I mean, in Delhi, the issue is also extreme because right on the screen right now on our channel, we are saying 3 for them, 1 for 716 of us. How fair is that? No. That kind of, focus. Is the Delhi police a private army for the VIPs? Is there any doubt about that now?
No, I think we've been, I have lived in this city all my life and I can recall, and as you rightly pointed out, that time for media also to go into recall mode. That how many cases have come up, what has happened, what has been culminated into final trial, what has happened to the people, plus the issue of policing. And the issue of policing, Sabha raised slightly that issue, that Delhi is an urbanized village, and in this urbanized village, when we talked about an urbanization, we forget that do we have the facilities to cater to this kind of population? Have we built the infrastructure for such a population? What kind of policemen have we provided?
You're not answering my question.
No, I'm answering your question because
according to a report by the Bureau of Police Research and Development released in April this year, the increase in protected persons protection deployment is the main reason which has strained the limited police resources of Delhi.
One has been fighting over
why don't the VIP
19 years.
No, but don't the police...
And I remember I've been personally involved in one such matter, and strangely enough that 19 years later the same matter comes up. And
no, so why are politicians unwilling to give up? I mean, is there some sense of shame out here? Yeah. Because even in the Delhi Assembly, when this issue was raised, Sheila Dikshit immediately stands up and says, "Oh my God, did a politician get attacked? Was a politician, MLA hurt? I give a promise on the floor of the Delhi Assembly that I will spend revenue from the state government to ensure security to every single MLA in this assembly." No, that is, I think, playing to the gallery. She's playing to the gallery, and even you're not saying it. She's playing to the BJP gallery as well.
No, she's not playing to the BJP gallery. I want to bring out another issue right now. The issue was when the kids were protesting in front of her house today, the water cannon and they were lathi charged.
I'll put the pictures up there. In fact,
and a situation like this, when these young students, unarmed and only willing to project the state of affairs in the city, are protesting, I think the least a politician can do is go up to them, meet them, understand their point of view, give them assurance, and even that has not been done.
And so right now, as I go to Rajesh, we'll put 2 sets of pictures of Rajesh. One is what is, that's what angers the people more, I think. Yeah. Because many of the people who got water cannoned, I can tell you, are there at India Gate now. Obviously. It's not going to stop their resolve. These are young people, they will fight and they will fight back. And it's not a political force, is it, Rajesh, which is raising these questions. It's not CPM or BJP out to embarrass Sheila Dikshit, is it?
All of them.
Rajesh?
See, perception management is so important. I don't think our politicians realize that at all. Look
You're saying this in the context of the pictures being played right now. Go ahead. No. You can't see them, but it's on the screen. The way in which the protesters were treated.
No, but why I'm saying this is, look at Ireland. less than a month ago, they realized there was an international outrage. They actually have gone ahead and done something. They actually go and do something proactively because the world realizes that this is not the right thing to do. Hey, we sit on it, we will make, pious platitudes, all these statements. 20 days down the line, everybody will forget about it. That's what the fear is.
No, and it has to be beyond lip service. Concrete things have to be done.
This is what I think Kiran said right in the beginning, asking why is it that, it's not that it's the first rape in the country, the first rape in the city, it keeps happening. But like the anti-corruption movement, people have had enough. They are absolutely sick of it all.
Can I just get all the panelists? I'm coming back to you. I think the problem also is that politicians go into victim mode very quickly.
Completely.
And I'm sorry to say this, women chief ministers have gone into this victim mode. Mamata Banerjee's reaction to the Park Street rape case was, oh my God, they are after me again. And the media has, is on the payrolls of the left parties and they're after me. She failed to see the issue in its right perspective. I fear Sheila Dikshit also perhaps is in victim mode. What do you think, Shaina?
Let me start by saying that I think it's absolutely appalling that there's no fear of law, because time and again we've seen that these molesters, rapists just get away and get away scot-free. Look at the reaction from a Sheila Dikshit. What has she said? She said that, in Delhi now we're going to have CCTV cameras. Is that the kind of approach you want when you have an incident such as this? Look at Sushil Kumar Shinde yesterday in Parliament, where he says that this is the rarest of rare, so we will have a fast-track court. Arnab, you know more than anyone else, in Mumbai, the Keenan Rubin case, 1 year down the line, it is only date after date, and even now the trial has not even started. If you're going to give this special status to this case, it's great. But what about the 40,000 cases that are still pending, where there are no questions, no answers? And look at the conviction rate. When it comes to the police, the thing that I think is absolutely appalling is we're constantly discussing the mindset in the country of a society as a whole. But what about the police, who questions every single girl about how she's dressed, why she was there, who she was attracting, and what was her business to be there? So if we think by, making sure that buses don't have tinted glasses, that being a solution, I think we're just going down into that same vicious circle of trying to come up with solutions which really are not concrete enough. So if you have to make sure... I
find that none of the politicians here, with all respect, there are two from the BJP on this panel, but I don't see an open-mindedness in either of you.
Open-mindedness.
To acknowledge
Arnab, they should not have security at all.
Politicians. And also today, politicians as in, today in Parliament, there was no time to discuss this issue. And I think it was completely shocking, and I just want to get your sense on it, Seba Farooqi, as well, before we go into the bigger issue. While this was happening, while these protests were gathering steam at India Gate, you saw this frivolous, attempt in the Rajya Sabha. Some Samajwadi Party MP snatches a piece of paper. Then there's a little game going on. These political tricks were on in the floor of the Rajya Sabha instead of a serious discussion on this particular issue, which is so many of our viewers have written to us saying, why can't the Parliament of India, on a day when there is anger outside, represent the views of the people of this country on this issue inside Parliament? Ms. Farooqi.
अर्नब, मैं समझती हूँ कि मेरा गला काफी गवर्नमेंट का और कुछ पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज का जो रवैया है महिलाओं की तरफ, वो बहुत ही केयरलेस अंदाज है. अगर ऐसा ना होता तो 33% रिजर्वेशन के लिए इतना लंबा जो हमारा आंदोलन चल रहा है वो ऐसे खटाई में नहीं पड़ता. महिलाओं से संबंधित जो भी कानून है, एसिड अटैक का कानून अभी तक खटाई में पड़ा हुआ है.